The auditorium held 3,000 cadets from 189 species across the galactic arm. Instructor Volkar stood at the podium, his crystalline form refracting the overhead lights into rainbows across the vaulted ceiling. And so, he droned in his characteristic monotone, we arrive at Protocol 6/23, Deathworld Proximity Guidelines. Should you ever encounter a being from a Class 9 or higher Deathworld, immediately... A hand went up. Row 34, seat 221. Volkar paused. Yes, cadet? He consulted his datapad. Brooks? Quick question. The voice was light, almost casual. What if someone here is from a Deathworld? Nervous laughter rippled through the auditorium. Volkar's facial plates shifted into what might have been amusement. An entertaining hypothetical, cadet, but our screening process... Right, but hypothetically, the human continued, still smiling. What's the protocol if someone just... already got through? Cadet Brooks. Volkar's patience was thinning. We have 17 redundant checks. It's genetically impossible for... Cool. Follow-up question then. Raven stood up, all 180 centimeters of her. I'm from Earth. Is that going to be a problem? The auditorium didn't just go quiet. It went vacuum silent. 3 Plixie cadets in the front row collapsed immediately, their methane bladders deflating with little whistling sounds. A Thorian priest student began chanting prayers to the eternal void. Somewhere in the back, someone screamed. Then the fire alarm went off. Chemical alert, the station's AI announced. Stress pheromone levels critical. Initiating atmospheric purge. Volkar's crystalline structure went completely transparent, his species equivalent of blood draining from a face. Earth? You said Earth? Yeah. Raven sat back down, looking around at the chaos with mild confusion. Is that a big deal here? The instructor's hands were shaking as he pulled up a holographic display. His voice came out as barely a whisper. Accessing planetary database. Search. Earth. Sol system. Terra. Dirt planet. Oh no. Oh stars no. The hologram blazed to life. Red text dominated the screen. Classification. Class 12. Deathworld quarantine. Status. Absolute sentient population. Apex predators. Persistence hunters. Gravity. 1.3 times standard atmospheric hazards. Oxygen-rich. Extreme fire risk. Native fauna. Megafauna. Venomous invertebrates. Microorganism plagues. Weather systems. Aggressively homicidal tectonic activity. Yes, natural disasters. All of them. Recommendation. Avoid at all costs. Huh, Raven said, squinting at the display. That's actually pretty accurate. Though I think aggressively homicidal is a bit much for weather. A Velkarian cadet 3 rows down fainted. Dean Quilksthen's office was never meant to hold this many panicking administrators. The dean herself sat behind her desk, all 4 eyes blinking in complete independence. Never a good sign. Her upper left eye focused on the file in front of her. Her upper right watched the door where Raven waited outside. Her lower eyes just stared into the middle distance, processing existential dread. Explain, she said flatly, how a Class 12 Deathworlder made it through admissions. The registrar, a nervous Plixie named Queel, was reviewing the application with trembling appendages. The name Earth must have been filed under a phonetic variant. The system categorized it as, oh no, as Earth Recreational Garden World, Class 2 Paradise designation. A garden world? Volkar's voice cracked. Have you seen the file? The planet has hurricanes, as a weather pattern, just casually. And earthquakes, added the medical officer. And volcanoes, someone else chimed in. And what they call winters. The registrar shuddered. Quilks then pulled up the full planetary assessment. Her lower right eye started twitching. This can't be accurate. Gravity at 1.3 standard? Nothing should evolve sapience in those conditions. They'd need reinforced skeletal structures, redundant muscular systems, cardiovascular efficiency that borders on... She stopped. Looked up. Someone get the human's medical file, now. The medical officer pulled it up. Read it. Went very still. Well? Quilks then demanded. Bone density is... It's off the charts. Muscle fiber composition I've never seen. Her resting heart rate would be considered tachycardia in any other species. The medical officer looked up, all three of her visual organs wide. Dean, I think she could probably rip a door off its hinges. Don't be ridiculous. A crash echoed from the hallway. Everyone froze. Quilks then activated the external monitor. There was Raven standing in front of the door panel, looking confused. The panel was crushed, sparking, completely destroyed. Oh shit, the human's voice came through clearly. I barely touched it. Is this thing broken? The Dean's 4 eyes met in the center of her face, something that only happened during Category 5 emergencies. Someone, she said very quietly, get me the catastrophic incident insurance forms. Back in the hallway, Raven tried to look inconspicuous next to the destroyed door panel. She'd found a chair, carefully, so carefully, and was eating something from the cafeteria. A maintenance drone rolled past, saw the damage, and immediately reversed direction while emitting a distress beacon. Hey, wait! Raven called after it. I can help fix. Okay, you're just leaving. That's fine. She looked down at her meal. The packaging had a label in 23 languages. The Galactic Standard Translation read, Warning, trace toxins. Nutritional supplement only. Maximum safe consumption. 50 milliliters per rotation. She'd eaten 3 containers. Huh, she muttered, reading the label properly for the first time. That explains why it's so bland. They're cutting it with neutralizers. She took another bite. Could use hot sauce. Inside the office, the debate had reached fever pitch. We have to send her back, insisted Counselor Vrax, his scales flushed with agitation. The liability alone. And insult a Deathworlder's honor? Volkar cut in. Do you want her species to consider it a declaration of war? War. That's absurd. Is it? The instructor pulled up another file. Cross-reference. Human military history. The hologram displayed a timeline. It was extensive. They've been fighting each other for their entire recorded history, Volkar continued. If they treat their own species like this, what do you think they'd do to us? Quilks then massaged her forehead ridges. Counselor Plix, you've been quiet. Thoughts? The elderly Plixie sage floated forward. I propose a compromise. We keep her. What? But, Plix continued, we monitor her constantly, update all emergency protocols, and perhaps most importantly, he paused. We use this as a learning opportunity. If humans are seeking to join the galactic community, better we learn their capabilities in a controlled environment. Controlled? Vrax laughed bitterly. Look at that door panel. The door panel will be replaced, Plix said calmly. But knowledge? Understanding? That's irreplaceable. Besides, he pulled up Raven's application essay. Read her entrance statement. She wants to help build bridges between species. That's not the goal of a conqueror. Quilks then read it again. Her expression softened slightly. She wrote about cooperation. Unity. Using strength to protect, not dominate. Could be a trick, Vrax muttered. Or, the Dean said slowly, it could be genuine. She stood. Very well. The human stays. But I want hourly updates, triple redundancy on all safety systems, and someone explained to her that door panels are not designed for her homeworld's gravity resistance. She walked to the door. Or tried to. It was still crushed. Also, she added wearily, someone get maintenance up here. Through the broken doorway, they could see Raven waving apologetically. Sorry about that, she called. I'll pay for it. Do you guys take credit chips or... Quilks. Then's 4 eyes closed in unison. It was going to be a very long semester. Somewhere in the maintenance department, a technician updated the facility insurance policy. Under probability of catastrophic structural failure, they changed the rating from negligible to imminent. The premium quadrupled instantly. Outside, Raven finished her 4th container of toxic nutritional supplement and stood up. Carefully. So carefully. to throw it away. The trash receptacle crumpled slightly under her gentle toss. "Oh, come on," she sighed. In her pocket, her communicator buzzed. A message from the dean. "Welcome to Galactic Academy. Please report to Student Services for a comprehensive briefing on adjusting your strength for multi-species environments." Below that, a second message. "Also, please stop eating the trace toxin supplements. They're not food." Raven looked at the empty containers. "Oops," she said to no one in particular. In the administrative office, someone was already updating her file. New entry. Subject appears to have casual immunity to compounds that would hospitalize most species. Recommend updating cafeteria safety warnings. Again. The semester hadn't even officially started yet. This was going to be interesting. The Gauntlet had a reputation. In the 300 years since the Academy's founding, it had broken spirits, ended careers, and sent exactly 847 cadets home with notes that read, "Perhaps try a desk job." The obstacle course sprawled across 2 kilometers of deliberately hostile terrain. Walls designed to be unclimbable. Pits filled with stun foam. Barriers that moved when you weren't looking. Instructor Kylix stood at the starting line. Her 6 arms crossed in a pattern that signified, "Prepare for suffering." She was Drax. Exoskeletal, redundantly muscled, and the current course record holder at 28 minutes. "Cadets," she announced, her voice carrying across the assembled students. "This is not a test. This is an evaluation of your survival capabilities. If you cannot complete the Gauntlet, you cannot serve on away missions. The record stands at 28 minutes. I expect none of you to beat it." Raven raised her hand. Kylix's compound eyes swiveled. "Cadet Brooks, is there a time limit? Like, a maximum?" 2 hours. After that, we extract you." Kylix's mandibles clicked. Though most tap out well before then. The record for longest attempt is 96 minutes, held by a student who got lost in the maze section. "Cool." Raven stretched her arms. "Just checking." The first wave launched. 15 cadets hit the course at intervals. A Plixie made it exactly 40 meters before getting stuck in stun foam. A Thorian managed the first wall, then politely requested extraction. A promising Velkarian cleared 3 obstacles before cramping. Then it was Raven's turn. She hit the course at a jog. The first wall was 8 meters of frictionless alloy, angled outward at 15 degrees. Standard procedure was to use the provided climbing aids: magnetic grips, adhesive pads, leverage points. Raven jumped, caught the top edge, and pulled herself over in one motion. Kylix's jaw went slack. The stun foam pit came next, 5 meters of electroactive gel that solidified on contact. Protocol dictated using the swing ropes to cross. Raven ran straight through it. The foam grabbed at her legs, tried to harden, but her momentum and strength just plowed through. "Is she running through the stun foam?" someone whispered. "That's not possible," another cadet breathed. The maze section typically took 8 to 12 minutes of careful navigation. Raven glanced at it, seemed to calculate something, then simply climbed over the walls. Just straight up and over, using the tops as a highway. Kylix checked her chrono. 7 minutes elapsed. The crushing corridor came next. Walls that closed to half-width, testing flexibility and spatial awareness. Raven turned sideways and walked through without slowing down. The final obstacle was the Gauntlet's crown jewel, a 30-meter climbing wall with randomized handholds that retracted without warning. Cadets had to read the pattern, anticipate the changes, move with precision. Raven looked at it for exactly 3 seconds. Then she jumped, grabbed a handhold halfway up, and used the momentum to swing herself to another. When one retracted under her hand, she just grabbed the next, flowing up the wall like water. She hit the top at 11 minutes, 34 seconds. Then she stopped. Kylix zoomed in with her optical enhancers. "What is she doing?" Raven was climbing back down. She dropped next to a Plixie student who'd gotten trapped in the maze section, hoisted them over her shoulder. Carefully, so carefully, and carried them to the exit. Then she went back for a Thorian stuck in the stun foam, and a third student who'd twisted an appendage in the crushing corridor. At 18 minutes, she crossed the finish line for the 4th time, set down the last rescued student, and looked around. So, she said, barely winded. Where's the real course? This was a nice warm-up. Absolute silence. Cadet Brooks. Kylix's voice was very measured. That was the real course. Oh. Raven blinked. Seriously? The record was 28 minutes. You completed it in 11, then did it 3 more times carrying other students. Right. But... Raven gestured vaguely. It wasn't that hard? I mean, the walls were kinda low, and the foam was pretty thin, and... low. Kylix's mandibles clicked rapidly, a sign of extreme stress. The walls are 8 meters. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Low. Kylix pulled out her datapad with trembling hands. Under Gauntlet difficulty rating, she changed it from extreme to moderate. Then she added a note. Update for next semester. Increase all obstacles by 200%. Budget for structural reinforcement. Request human-specific course design. Recommend therapy for current instructor. The gravity chamber was supposed to be the ultimate test. It sat in the Academy's sub-level 5, a massive spherical room where artificial gravity could be adjusted from 0.1x to 2x standard. At 1.5 times, it was considered advanced training. At 1.8x, it was brutal. Anything above 2x was theoretical. The equipment had governors to prevent damage. Raven walked in with her training group. 15 cadets, all looking nervous. Today, announced the training supervisor, a Velkarian named Throck, we test your endurance at elevated gravity. We'll start at 1.2x and gradually increase. When you can no longer continue, signal for extraction. The gravity increased. Immediately, 3 students sat down heavily. At 1.3x, 5 more tapped out. At 1.5x, only Raven and a particularly sturdy Drax remained standing. Raven was doing stretches. Cadet Brooks, Throck called. How are you feeling? Fine? A little light, actually. She touched her toes easily. This is like what? Earth standard? Throck checked his panel. This is 1.5 times standard gravity. It should feel quite heavy. Huh. Raven did a few jumping jacks. Can we go higher? I barely feel it. Higher? Throck's concern was immediate. Cadet, 1.5 times is advanced training. Going higher could be dangerous. I grew up in 1.3x, Raven pointed out. This is only a bit more. Come on, let's see what this thing can do. Against his better judgment, Throck increased it to 1.8 times. The Drax student immediately collapsed. Throck himself had to brace against a wall. Raven started doing push-ups. This is better, she called up. Actually feels like a workout now. Throck's hands were shaking on the controls. Cadet, I really must insist we stop. Just a little more. Please? This is insane. 2x? Just to see? Throck went to 2.2x, which was technically against protocol. He was now lying on the floor, using emergency supports. The observation window showed medical staff preparing emergency extraction. Raven transitioned from push-ups to squats. Okay, now we're talking. Her voice was cheerful. Can you go higher? The governors, Throck gasped. Safety, protocols. Right. Safety Raven considered. But theoretically, what's the max? 2.5 times, before, structural damage. Let's try 2.8x. That's not how math works. Please? Throck made a decision that would haunt his career. He overrode the governors. At 2.8 times gravity, the chamber itself started groaning. Warning lights flashed. The medical bay filled with students who'd passed out from sympathetic stress just watching the readouts. Raven was doing lunges. This is perfect, she announced. Like being back home at the gym. Throck managed to hit the emergency release. Gravity began cycling down. That's when it happened. The governor, strained beyond its design limits, didn't gradually decrease gravity. It spiked to 3.2x for exactly 1.4 seconds. The chamber's reinforced floor cracked. Support beams bent. The observation window developed a fracture. Then everything went to 0.1x as the system crashed. Raven floated upward gently, looking confused. Did something break? Throck was unconscious. The medical team rushed in with anti-grav stretchers. Emergency alerts blared through the facility. Dean Quilk's then's communicator lit up with urgent messages. When Raven finally exited the chamber, walking through the emergency bulkhead door after manually cycling it open, she was dusting off her uniform. "Is the gravity thing broken?" she asked the horrified medical team. "It got kinda weird at the end there." One medic just pointed mutely at the destruction visible through the chamber door. Cracked floors, bent support beams, sparking control panels. "Huh," Raven said. "That's not supposed to happen, right?" The chemistry lab incident started with a simple experiment. Cadet Yilix was synthesizing a basic compound. Routine stuff, first-year material. But Yilix was nervous, and nervous Plixie made mistakes. The wrong catalyst went into the wrong beaker. The explosion was small. The resulting chemical spill was not. "Evacuate!" Professor Zhen's voice carried across the lab. "Level 9 biohazard. Everyone out now." Students fled. Some teleported. Others just ran, abandoning equipment, projects, dignity. Raven was halfway out when she paused. "Oh shit, my data pad." It was sitting on the lab bench, right in the middle of the expanding puddle of corrosive compound that was currently eating through the work surface. "Cadet Brooks! No!" Professor Jen screamed. Raven jogged back into the lab. The compound was xylothrene-9, a substance so corrosive it required triple containment and hazmat certification just to study. It could dissolve most organic matter in seconds. Exposure meant immediate hospitalization, possible mutation, likely death. Raven reached through it, grabbed her datapad, and wiped it on her uniform. "Got it," she called cheerfully. Professor Zhen had gone completely still. You just... Raven looked at her hand. There was a slight redness. "Oh, this? It tingles a bit. We have stronger stuff in cleaning supplies back home. My mom used to use something similar to clean the bathroom." "Cleaning supplies?" Jen's voice cracked. "That's xylothrene-9. "Yeah?" Raven sniffed her hand. "Smells like bleach and regret. Definitely bathroom cleaner vibes." 3 lab assistants resigned via neural link before Raven even left the building. 2 professors requested immediate transfers to any posting that wasn't this one. 1 specified, preferably somewhere without humans. By the time Raven made it back to her dorm, there was already an update to her file. Dean Quilks then had added a new section in bold red text. "Biohazard immunity. Unclear extent. Toxins ineffective. Corrosives cause tingling. Possible walking extinction event. Under no circumstances should subject be angered, threatened, or given cause to demonstrate full defensive capabilities." Below that, someone had added, "Also, she thinks xylothrene-9 smells like cleaning products." What the hell do they clean with on Earth? In the maintenance department, someone was already filing paperwork for a complete gravity chamber rebuild. In the medical bay, Throck was being treated for extreme gravitational stress. In the chemistry department, Professor Jen was updating the hazmat protocols to include a footnote. Exception. Humans. Apparently. And in her dorm room, Raven was texting her mom. "First day went great. Made some friends, tried some new workouts, and the chemistry lab smells just like home." Her mom texted back, "That's wonderful, sweetie. Are you remembering to be gentle with the other students?" Raven looked at the crushed door panel, the destroyed gravity chamber, and the 3 cadets she'd accidentally saved from the obstacle course. "Totally," she replied. "Super gentle." Outside her room, a maintenance drone was installing reinforced everything. The semester had barely begun. This was going to be a very long year. The tactical training simulation was supposed to be routine. Instructor Vex stood at the control panel, preparing the standard scenario. Simulated hostiles, stun weapons, basic cover and retreat protocols. First-year stuff. "Cadets," he announced, "today's exercise will test your response to unexpected hostile contact. Remember, assess, retreat, report. Your objective is survival, not..." The station lurched. Every light went red. Alarms screamed in 12 languages simultaneously. the translations overlapping into cacophony. Alert! Hull breach Sector 7. Hostile boarders detected. This is not a drill. Repeat, this is not a drill. Vex's face went through several colors, none of them good. Oh no. Everyone to the safe rooms now. Cadets scattered. Some teleported immediately. Others bolted for the exits. Raven's face lit up like someone had just told her it was her birthday. Finally, she breathed, cracking her knuckles. Something interesting. Cadet Brooks, safe room. Where's the weapons locker? Vex threw her the access card. What choice did he have? Raven emerged with a standard-issue plasma rifle. She hefted it, frowned. This is it? It's so light. That's a plasma rifle. Yeah, but no recoil. How am I supposed to— The training deck doors exploded inward. 6 figures in mismatched armor poured through. Vashkar Reavers, notorious pirates. Their leader, a massive krill with cybernetic enhancements, surveyed the room. Everyone on the ground. This is a raid. Vex hit the ground. Most cadets followed. Raven stayed standing. Quick question. Are you guys the actual bad guys, or is this still part of the simulation? The krill stared. Are you insane? Get down before I— Cool, just checking. Raven smiled, not a friendly smile. So we can fight back, right? She shot him. The thing about fear responses is they're evolutionary. Most species freeze, flee, or flock together when predators attack. Humans had a fourth option. Raven had flipped a training table for cover and ditched the plasma rifle after 3 shots. Too imprecise. She'd fashioned a weapon from a resistance bar from the gym, just a weighted metal rod. In her hands, it was a war crime waiting to happen. Come on! She screamed in a language that had been dead for 200 years. She charged. A pirate fired. She used the table as a shield, batting the plasma bolt aside, and closed the distance in 3 impossible strides. The improvised weapon hit the pirate's gun arm. Crunch. He dropped. One down! Her voice was cheerful. The krill leader brought up his plasma cutter. Raven threw the table. 8 feet of reinforced equipment sailed through the air and crashed into him. He went down hard. 2 pirates tried to flank her. She grabbed one by the arm and used him as a shield against the other. Then she swept his legs and disarmed the second with a move the combat instructor would later describe as technically brilliant, but absolutely terrifying. The remaining pirates backed up. One Plixie scout looked at the human vibrating with combat joy and made a choice. He dropped his weapon. I surrender. Specifically to her. What? His partner stared. Look at her. She's enjoying this. My self-preservation instincts are screaming. Raven paused. Oh, okay? Yes! I will sit here, very still. Please don't hit me with furniture. 3 more weapons clattered to the floor. Station security arrived prepared for a hostage situation. What they found would require 17 incident reports. The training deck looked like a disaster zone. Furniture overturned, scorch marks everywhere, and a krill-shaped dent in the reinforced door. In the center stood Raven. She was covered in blood. Blue, green, and purple. None of it hers. Her uniform was torn, but she was smiling, holding a chair leg like a baton. Behind her, corralled into a corner, sat 6 terrified pirates. Commander Thrace stopped dead. What? What happened here? Oh, hey. These guys attacked during training. I handled it. You handled it? Uh-huh. She pointed to the krill. That big guy was a bit stubborn. Thrace looked at Vex, who was still on the floor. Instructor? She just fought them. All of them. Cadet Brooks, you were supposed to retreat and wait for rescue. Raven blinked. Was that mandatory? Because it felt optional. Optional? Well, you said assess, retreat, report. But I assessed they were hostile, didn't want to retreat, and figured I'd report after. She shrugged. Sorry if I did it wrong. A tactical team member was reviewing security footage. His face went pale. Commander, you need to see this. The footage showed everything. Raven charging with a table, disarming 3 pirates in seconds, laughing while dodging pulse fire, using a pirate as a stepping stone to vault over another. Classify this, Thrace said immediately. Maximum security. He turned to Raven. You're coming with me. Am I in trouble? Because I can pay for the furniture. The pirates are going to medical for psychological evaluation. You terrified them. The surrendered Plixie looked up. Nice? You threw a table? Yeah, but I aimed for the non-vital areas. Thrace gestured to his team. They secured the prisoners, who went more willingly than any criminals in recorded history. As they led Raven away, word spread through the station's network. The Velkarian embassy updated their threat assessment of humanity from potentially dangerous to strategically critical, never antagonize. Pirate crews across the sector removed any facility housing humans from target lists, and in Dean Quilksden's office, a new file was being created. Title: Incident 34. Zeta. Human cadet single-handedly repels pirate boarding action. Conclusion: Subject displays combat capabilities beyond all projections. Shows active enjoyment of combat. Fought 6 armed hostiles with improvised weapons and emerged uninjured. Pirates exhibited psychological trauma. Recommend maximum caution. Never make humanity angry. 12 species updated their diplomatic protocols that day. The common thread: be nice to humans. Very, very nice. In the medical bay, the krill leader kept muttering, just one. How do you fight something that enjoys fighting? Nobody had an answer. In her dorm, Raven texted her mom. Exciting day. Got to use my training for real. Everyone was super impressed. Her mom's reply, that's my girl. Did you remember to say please and thank you? Raven thought about the pirate she'd used as a springboard. Mostly, she typed back. And somewhere in galactic military intelligence, an analyst wrote a simple conclusion. Recommendation. If humans are this dangerous when they're trying to be nice, we should probably make sure they never have a reason to be mean. By morning, humanity's diplomatic status had been quietly upgraded to Priority Friendship Protocol, Maximum Effort. Nobody wanted to find out what happened when you made the Deathworlders angry. The graduation ceremony had never required this many emergency protocols. Dean Quilks then stood backstage, reviewing the preparations. Medical teams on standby. Structural reinforcement completed yesterday. Insurance premiums paid in full. 17 different contingency plans, from minor property damage to catastrophic station failure. All because of one graduate. She's valedictorian, Vex reminded the dean. Top of her class in every category. I'm aware. Quilksden's 4 eyes focused on different stress points. I'm also aware she accidentally destroyed 3 training facilities and caused 2 diplomatic incidents. She also saved 14 lives and revolutionized our combat curriculum. The ceremony began. 3,000 attendees filled the auditorium. At the center, wearing a dress uniform requiring custom reinforcement, stood Raven Brooks. She approached the podium. Every camera focused on her. Security teams tensed. Thank you all for being here, Raven began. I want to thank Dean Quilksden for giving me a chance, my instructors for their patience, and my fellow cadets who taught me so much. The audience relaxed. This was normal. Of course, coming from Earth, I had to make adjustments. Though honestly, the Academy was pretty tame compared to some places back home. Like Earth's oceans? Now those are scary. My family vacationed on the coast once. Swimming, surfing, the occasional shark. 4 species in the audience immediately pulled out data pads. Search. Earth oceans. 71% water coverage? Great white what now? A Plixie dignitary fainted. Raven looked confused. What? It's just water. In the front row sat War Master Krelix, a Velkarian dignitary whose species had gone undefeated in combat for 3,000 years. Exaggeration, he muttered. Humans rely on reputation and tall tales. He stood abruptly. Human, I challenge your species' reputation. Prove it. He produced a Durasteel rod. Crush this. With your hands. Raven walked down. Sure. Is this a graduation tradition or? She took the rod in one hand, continued her speech with the other. As I was saying, despite our differences, snap. The rod broke like a pretzel stick. We can all work together toward... Oh, whoops. She looked at the broken Durasteel. Sorry, did you need that back? Krelix had gone completely still, skin shifting from deep gray to pale ash. Your species, he said slowly. Do you even have a predator on your world? Raven's expression went flat. Sir, she said quietly, we are the predator. The auditorium went silent. Krelix sat down heavily. Update the military database. Velkarian combat doctrine. Never engage humans. Just avoid. Already done, sir. Dean Quilks then took the podium. Her hands were shaking. All four eyes blinked in synchronized patterns. Something that only happened during the most important announcements. Today marks a historic moment, she began. Not just because we graduate our first human cadet, but because we must acknowledge a truth we've avoided. She pulled up Earth's file. The quarantine classification blazed in red. Earth was placed on the Forbidden Worlds list 200 years ago. The official reason was that humans couldn't survive our training. She paused. That was a lie. Gasps rippled through the audience. Earth was banned not because humans couldn't survive our training. It was banned because we weren't sure anything else could survive with them. The audience recalculated their diplomatic strategies in real time. But Cadet Brooks has shown us something remarkable. Yes, humans are strong, resilient, but they're also kind, brave, willing to risk themselves for others. Everything we value in this academy. She turned to Raven. Please approach. Raven stood, walked carefully to the podium. It is my honor to present you with the Crystal of Excellence. She handed Raven the crystalline sculpture. Crack. It splintered in her grip. Oh no. I'm so sorry. I thought I was being gentle. The audience burst into warm laughter. It's fine, Quilks then said, eyes crinkling. We'll get you a Durasteel one. Raven accepted her diploma, laminated in military-grade polymer, and returned to her seat, clutching the broken crystal. Across the galaxy, policy changed. New Academy directive. Human applicants permitted, with mandatory warning labels. New diplomatic protocols. Priority friendship status for human worlds. New military assessments. Threat level don't. In the Galactic Council's secured chambers, an emergency session had been called. The Counselor for Species Integration stood before the assembly. She was the nice one, the counselor said softly. Earth sent us their diplomat. Someone pulled up her previous occupation. Prior employment. Elementary school teacher. The chamber went deathly quiet. They sent someone whose job was caring for children, another counselor whispered. And she still broke our facility 3 times. Accidentally. What if they send their warriors next? No one answered. The vote was unanimous. Humanity upgraded to strategic priority, maximum cooperation. On Earth, in a recruitment office in Geneva, an officer reviewed incoming applications. 203 new candidates for the Galactic Academy program. Former Special Forces, engineers, scientists. One whose listed hobby was extreme cave diving. The officer smiled and approved them all. In her new quarters on a diplomatic station, Raven received a message from the Academy. First human student has paved the way. Expect more to follow. Please prepare tutorial materials on how not to break everything. She laughed and started typing a response. Outside her window, the galaxy turned, unaware that everything had just changed. In the council chambers, someone stared at Raven's file. At Dean Quilksthen's final note. Species assessment, terrifying when threatened. Unstoppable when motivated. Absolutely delightful when befriended. Recommendation, keep them happy at all costs. And below that, in handwriting. P.S. They think they're being gentle. God help us all if they ever decide not to be. The galaxy had welcomed humanity. Now it just had to survive the experience.